Now to the impeachment battle as we wait to see if John Bolton will be called to testify. The president's former national security advisor is re-emerging on Twitter and blaming the White House for his absence. ABC's David Wright is at the White House with the latest. David, good morning.
Good morning, Eva. Bolton may be the witness that Democrats most want to hear from in the impeachment inquiry. Not only does he have a big following among conservatives, his lawyers have suggested he has significant information to add, including, quote, relevant meetings and conversations that have not yet been discussed in the testimony so far.
I don't think I've ever seen support in the Republican Party like we do right now. We've never had this kind of support.
President Trump insists he had a great week despite the impeachment inquiry.
You know the great hoax? They call it the impeachment hoax. And that's really worked out incredibly well.
But Trump's former national security advisor now claims the administration locked him out of his Twitter account for months. Out of fear what I may say, John Bolton tweeted Friday, we have now liberated the Twitter account previously suppressed unfairly in the aftermath of my resignation. The White House denies it did anything of the sort. CNN caught up with Bolton as he arrived back in D.C.
Why did the White House lock you?
You'll have to ask the White House that.
Bolton's former deputy, Fiona Hill, testified this week. He told her to distance herself from a pressure campaign to get Ukraine to investigate former Vice President Biden.
Ambassador Bolton told me that I am not part of this whatever drug deal that Mulvaney and Sondland are cooking up.
If the impeachment process goes forward to the Senate, the White House says the president will have an advantage. Calling into Fox and Friends Friday morning, President Trump said the rules set by the Republican-controlled Senate would be totally different from the hearings conducted by House Democrats.
Don't forget, there was no due process. You can't have lawyers. We couldn't have any witnesses. Right. We want to call the whistleblower.
White House officials say they want to call Hunter Biden as well as the whistleblower.
What whistleblower? I don't think there is. I consider it to be a fake whistleblower because what he wrote didn't correspond to what I said in any way, shape, or form.
Perhaps with the Senate trial in mind, the president has launched a charm offensive among Republican senators, hosting a series of lunches here at the White House. Tom?
Several meetings there at the White House. All right, David, thanks so much for that. So much happened this week and so much still to come. Let's bring in NYU law professor Melissa Murray. She's been part of our impeachment coverage all week. Now, Melissa, walk us through the next few steps and the next few weeks. We know it now heads to the Judiciary Committee in the House.
All right, so Chairman Schiff will compile a report and submit it to the Judiciary Committee, which will review it. In that report will be perhaps recommended articles of impeachment, which the Judiciary Committee will vote on. And then once the Judiciary Committee has voted it out of committee, it will then be presented, usually, to the entire House, which will vote. And all it takes is a simple majority of the House in order to issue those articles of impeachment. And from there, we shift to a trial in the Senate.
And there's been some debate among the Republicans about the pace of this trial in the Senate.
Well, the pacing of it is going to be really important. The Senate gets to set all of the rules for this impeachment trial. It is not like an ordinary criminal trial. So they get to set the amount of time they'll spend on this, the amount of witnesses they'll have, the timing of opening and closing statements, and the rules for due process. And what's really important here is that the jurors, the senators who will be weighing this evidence, include many of the Democratic hopefuls who would rather be out on the campaign trail right now reaching the voters.
And there's a major political calculation for this, as you mentioned, for the Democrats, but also the Republicans. There's been debate. President Trump possibly wanted a longer trial to defend himself, but some of the Senate Republicans were like, let's pump the brakes on that possibly because this could be also horrible for you.
Well, so the president would like a longer trial. Nobody really knows why. Maybe to make more of a case, maybe to keep those senators who are on the campaign trail out of the campaign trail and in the Senate hearing this evidence. But the Republicans are right. This is a risky and dicey proposition for the president because if the trial is longer, more and more evidence could come in and we could hear more testimony from some of the witnesses we did not hear from during the public impeachment stage, including Rudy Giuliani, John Bolton, and even Mick Mulvaney.
Okay, and so next week they take the week off and then New Year, a lot of this is going to happen.
Well, we don't really know what the timing is. The idea that Nancy Pelosi and the Democrats have suggested, and they've not committed to any firm timeline, is that we will get articles of impeachment if we're actually going to go down that route by the end of the year, and the idea that a trial would happen as early as January. But no look.
All right, Melissa, thanks so much for that.
Thanks for having me.
Yep.
Hi, everyone. George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.